Okay, so Algebra 1, first video of the assignment that is starting Monday, March 30th, that is due on April 5th at 11:59 p.m. So this little mini lesson is just for the first 4 problems on the assignment. Excuse me. What we're talking about here are the key characteristics of a parabola. So what I want you to do is I want you to take notes on these. You can either print out the papers if you have that capability, or just sketch them like I did here, and then just follow along. So if you need to pause the video, write that out in your notes, and then follow along with this. So the key characteristics of a parabola are the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the x and y intercepts, and then we're going to identify where the graph is increasing and where, and where it's decreasing. Remember these parabolas? These are the shapes that we get when we graph these functions, these quadratics that have an x squared in them. So it's something squared, where the variable is squared here. So we've got a couple equations, we've got a couple graphs, they're already on there. We're just going to go ahead and identify it. So the vertex is either the highest or the lowest point on the graph. So in this case, we look at problem 1, the vertex is right here. Vertex is at 4, -8. And we're going to label it that way. We're going to say vertex, and we're going to say the coordinate point for that vertex. Now, the vertex also tells us, since it's right in the middle, in this case it's at the lowest point, it tells us where our axis of symmetry is. Our axis of symmetry is always at that x number of the vertex. So if I take this line right here, this dashed line, that is my axis of symmetry. It's at x equals 4. It's a line, x equals 4. Remember, when we write x equals, that is a vertical line, right? Y equals is a horizontal line. So here, the axis of symmetry is at x equals 4. We call it the axis of symmetry because if I take this half of the parabola and I fold it over or reflect it in this line, I get this half, and then vice versa. If I take this half, reflect it over. So every parabola, specifically parabolas, not just U-shapes, but parabolas, are going to be symmetric about the x number of the vertex. And these are Algebra 1 parabolas that are either going up or going down. Okay, so we got the axis of symmetry, we got the vertex, now the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. So from a graph, the x-intercepts are where that curve, that's our graph, where it crosses the x-axis on the coordinate grid. So here we have 2 of them. Our x-intercepts, let's go a different color for these. Let's go yellow. Hello! So x-intercepts, which we can just abbreviate with x-ints, are here and here. And the way we write them, because they are points, we write them as coordinate points. So we're going to say 2, 0, and 6, 0. So those are our x-intercepts. Right? It's where the graph, the curve, intersects or meets or touches or crosses the x-axis, right? That horizontal axis. Now the y-intercept is where this curve, this parabola, intersects the y-axis, that vertical axis. And that happens right here. Y-intercept. And here our x number is 0, and the y number, in this case, is 24. And you can see that on the document that you're looking at right now as we go over with this with the notes. All right, lastly, we're going to say where it's increasing, where it's decreasing. So I'll switch colors for that again. So we'll just write that here. It is increasing. So I'm going to go INC for increasing. All right, so if I'm going from left to right, and I'm following this curve, increasing is where it's going up. So here I'm going down, going down, going down, going down. Vertex, now I'm going up. So everything to the right of the vertex on this graph is increasing. It's going up from left to right. So the way we write that is we identify which x numbers it is increasing for, or which x numbers that curve is going up. So from everything bigger than 4, it's getting bigger. So it's increasing for all x's that are greater than 4. Not equal to 4, because we noticed here we were going down and then we switched to going up. So at 4, it's neither increasing or decreasing, it is changing. So we can also think of the vertex not just as the lowest point, but also as the point where it changes direction. So from going down to going up. Now, decreasing, which I'll go DEC for decreasing, that is all of these values here going down, 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 until the vertex. So here, it's all the x's that are less than 4. And you might have noticed that that axis of symmetry line, or the x number of the vertex, the same value, right? That is kind of the cutoff for increasing, decreasing for these parabolas. And it's always going to be that way for a parabola. So, all right, that's that problem. We're going to do the next one. Hopefully that will be enough information for you to do the first 4 problems for the assignment to get your points, for your at-home learning. All right, let's go ahead and look at problem 2. Problem 2, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to find vertex and axis of symmetry. What did I do with my pink pen? There it is. Found it, pink pen. All right, so the vertex here, we can say, let's look at where it changes from increasing to decreasing, or decreasing to increasing. So here, as I'm going along, my graph, as I go from left to right, I'm going up, 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 and then going down. So right here, the vertex is this point right here at -2, 8, where it changes from increasing to decreasing. It's the highest point. It's also right in the middle of the graph. Okay, now we're going to find axis of symmetry. So we just take that x number of the vertex and we'll just draw a vertical line straight up and down through that. Woohoo! That is our axis of symmetry. And we write the answer for the axis of symmetry as x equals whatever x number we're going through right there. Because it is a vertical line, it is x equals number. In this case, it's x equals -2. It's right there, -2. All right, so now we need to find the x-intercepts and the y-intercept. So the x-intercepts here are where this curve, this parabola, crosses the x-axis. So we have an x-intercept here. X-int at 0, whoop, goofed. Not 0, right? It's the x number that's -6. It's the y number that's 0. So let's cancel that out. Oh, come on. There we go. So -6, 0. And then we got another one right there at 2, 0. Another x-intercept. In this case, we have 2 x-intercepts. The y-intercept is where this curve crosses the y-axis. So I'm going to follow this curve, boom, until I hit the y-axis. That's our y-intercept at 0, 5. Okay, lastly, we're going to say where it's increasing, decreasing. Then we're going to summarize kind of like how these numbers relate to the equations. And I'm talking about x-intercepts just a little bit at the end. So, increasing. Let's get a different pen. Let's go orange. It is increasing. In this case, this is a parabola that's opening downward because it's going down. This one open upward. This one opens down. So here, as I go from left to right, my y values are getting bigger, 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 bigger. So I'm increasing here all the way up until this axis of symmetry or vertex. So all the way up until -2, I'm increasing. So I have all the x numbers that are smaller than -2 is where that graph is increasing. And then it's decreasing on the other side of the vertex. So as long as you can find the vertex and say, hey, if I go to the right, is it going up or down? Well, here, if I go to the right, it's going down. So it's decreasing. X is greater than -2. So all the x's that are bigger than -2 on this side, the graph is decreasing. The y values are getting smaller. All of the, if I go for x's that are less than -2, so on this side, the y values are getting bigger, so it is increasing. And we always go with the x's from left to right. Okay, so that's all you really need to answer for these questions, for the first 4 problems on the assignment. I do want to talk a little bit just about, let's look at the vertex here. So the vertex on this one, problem 1, is at 4, -8. If you look at the equation, this is x minus 4, and this is a -8. And the vertex is at +4, -8. Here, the vertex is at -2, 8. So here I have an x plus 2, and here I have a plus 8, and the vertex is at -2, 8. Notice that this value right here, the -8 and the +8, those tell you the y number of the vertex, right? If you look at that, that matches. Now this number right here, next to the x, that is the opposite of the x number for the vertex. And that's going to help us with our next part with graphing these. So just something to kind of notice. Also, for x-intercepts and y-intercepts, there will always be a y-intercept. There might not always be x-intercepts. You could have a graph that looks like that never crosses the x-axis. In that case, just say there are no x-intercepts. That's fine. You could have a graph that looks like this, where it just has one x-intercept. Let's say it hits here at -1, 0. Then it's just one x-intercept. In that case, the vertex hits the x-axis. Then you would just give one coordinate point for your x-intercepts. So, to summarize, vertex is where the graph changes direction. It's either the lowest or the highest point. Write down the x and the y number coordinates. Axis of symmetry, that is a vertical x equals number line where it's x equals the x number of the vertex. X-intercepts are where the graph crosses the x-axis. Y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. And then increasing or decreasing, just follow that curve as you go from left to right. If you're going down, it's decreasing. If you're going from left to right and it's going up, it's increasing. And it's always going to look like this. X is greater than or x is less than the x number from the vertex. Okay, so hopefully that's enough to get you going on the first 4 problems. I'm going to make another video for the next one. So it should show up like right up here on your screen, like right where my hand is. Click on that so that you can watch that next. Okay, and let me know if you have any questions. Email me, remind, or talk to me on my office hours.